All right. Hi guys. Welcome to Money Matters. So if you're watching, you know the rule. Say hi to me so that I know you guys are watching. And comment. We are going live on three different pages today. We are on Simply Empowering Facebook page. We are on Madhura K Facebook page and also my profile. So wherever you are, just say drop a hi so that I know you guys are there. And we'll be starting very shortly. So today's topic is very very interesting. I'm super excited to go ahead and talk about it, which is a topic that just very spontaneously I came up with when I was having a chat with the speaker today. So the topic is how to increase my income and not freak out when it does. Okay, so I think a lot of us, especially if you're a youngster, the concern is how do I increase my income? How can I make it happen? So we'll be talking a lot more about that today. So, if you guys are new to this live stream, this is Money Matters, where we will talk about different topics with regards to personal finance. I'll be sharing some of my personal experiences, but also getting other people's experiences on here, so that we can learn together and start becoming aware of our how we are in terms of our finances and working towards our goals in that area as well. All right, so thanks guys saying for thank you for saying hello. If you're watching, just share the link out so that more people can see this. Today is definitely going to be amazing. Like I said, the topic is how to increase my income and not freak out when it does. So the speaker we have for today's segment is amazing. We have Hasha, who is the CEO and founder of StartMyName.com. And she actually got 400 clients from 4 continents in less than a year, which is why she's the speaker for today's topic, because she pulled off an amazing feat of getting so many clients into her company, and she managed to do it in less than a year, which is amazing. So how did she manage to, build her business to such level at a very fast rate? We're going to talk about that. She's also the co-founder of Ascendance. She's a three times TEDx speaker and an author. She recently released a book called The Makings of a Teenage Entrepreneur, which is amazing. You should get that book. And she's also a fellow 2019 Diana Award recipient. She has been featured on BFM, Vulcan Post, Bernama, and many other media channels that I'm not even going to try to read out all of it to you guys. So that is the guest we have for today. So let me add Hasha in. Do say hello to Hasha, guys. Come on. Perfect. All right. Hi,
Hi
Hasha.
everyone. Hello.
How are you feeling?
I am feeling very excited. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I remember watching all of the Money Matters episodes and then grilling so much every time you have an episode. So now I'm so excited to be on the show.
Yep, I'm super excited too. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun topic. So I thought, this is something I've always wanted to do, which is like have a bit of fun before we go into the topic and get all serious. So I thought we could play a rapid fire game of sorts before we get started. So I have a few questions for you. The idea is that you answer it as fast as possible, but you can give some explanation as to why you say that when you're answering as well, lah. So the first one I have is your one golden rule for money. What is the one rule that you think you should follow when it comes to money?
This is so hard. To be honest, I've never thought of myself as a financially literate, so I have never thought I had any golden rule. But I think maybe mine would be spend happily. So
Okay.
respond and spend happily in a way.
Wow. Okay. I have no idea what that means. Uh, but we can get into that a bit later. Okay. Spend happily. Usually people say earn happily and stuff, but yeah, okay. All right. The other question I have is your biggest mistake that you've ever done when it comes to finances. What is your
When
biggest mistake?
comes to finances, I made too many mistakes. I think maybe I should say I spend too happily sometimes, I guess. And
Okay.
I'm very reactive with my spending. So I'm the kind of person where every time I see fundraiser, I'm like, fundraiser, I must help. So I think like sometimes I react too much and I spend.
Okay, all right. So okay, next one. This I personally like this one because I have no idea what I will answer if it was asked to me. So would you rather have 1,000 a day for the rest of your life, or have 1 million in the bank today?
Wait,
I
I
feel
have to do
this is
math.
such a tough question, man. I have no idea how you're gonna choose.
I have to do maths. I have to do maths. How much is 1,000 over 1 million? That's 1,000 days. 1,000 days is 3 years. So in that span of 3 years, am I allowed to do anything with this 1 million? Or like,
You
You
can do
know,
whatever you want. Yeah, it's with you.
so like I don't know. I simply because I don't trust my investing skills. 1,000 again.
I think I would go for that too. Just because you can slowly grow the money instead of just having a big chunk in your bank account. I'll probably freak out. So yeah. All right. So the next, very apt for the topic today, freaking out. All right. So the last question I have for you is, would you rather take a vacation now and not be able to take one for the next 10 years, or wait for 4 years and take one every 4 years after that?
What kind of
So
question is this? How come I cannot take a vacation more often? Can I like maybe 2 years once? No, like this is the tough one. How long is my vacation? So like if I take a 10-year vacation and then I don't take a vacation for 10 years, I think that's okay.
I don't think that is not vacation. That is life already. If it's 10 years,
In that case, I'll go for the other one, the 4 years
4 years.
one. But it's so sad. I have to still wait 4 years every time I want to go on holiday. Okay, never mind.
I
It's
mean, the
fine.
other one is you wait. I mean, you do get it now, but then after that you have to wait 10 years. So I would rather just do the 4 year gaps every now and then rather than doing a whole 10 year gap. I think I would go for that. If you guys are watching, do share your answers as well. I think Hira said 1,000 a day. Yeah, I think we all are the kind of people who would rather have a smaller sum. But then even 1,000 is quite big for a day. That's like, imagine guys, that's 30,000 per month. Okay, so now that it has sunk in, if you guys have just joined in, you're watching Money Matters, and we have Harsha here, who is the founder and CEO of startmyname.com, and we're going to be talking about how to increase your income and not freak out when it does. All right, so Asha, I think we can go into the first question itself, which is how to increase my income. Because when I was most of us lah, especially if you are somebody who's very young, you're just out of school or you're still in school, increasing our income is a very complicated process. It's something that is it seems very hard to do. There's a lot of adults who say, "Do you think money grows on tree?" And then you're like, "Okay, so it must be very hard to increase your income and all of that." So, what was your state or before this, and how did you manage to get like 400 clients for Start My Name in that 1 year period?
I think in the beginning, I'm a very complicated person, as you said. So I must complicate things, even simple things. I'll be like, let's figure out how to make this as complicated as possible. So even including earning money, I was like, okay, earning money. Actually, it's quite simple. You do something, you bring value to others, people give you money to say thank you. But for me, I'm like, no, we must make this the most complicated thing on the planet. So I've just finished school. I started the startup called startmyname.com. And many people know that the story is actually I had this conversation with my mentor, and then I told him that, okay, what do I do now? Let's look at my talents. But there's one thing which he also said, which I did not realize until later. He basically said, you need a vehicle for you to do your work. So you need something that can sustain you so that you can do Ascendance's work. So for all of you who don't know, Ascendance is a youth movement. We're a platform, we're a social enterprise. So most of the proceeds actually go back to the platform itself. So as someone running it, I cannot rely on Ascendance to provide me income. Ascendance is for the people. So where am I going to eat? So, right? So that's why we started startmyname.com. So I can still provide service while getting the funds I need to pay for my college, pay for my textbooks, and pay for my lunch. And in the beginning, because I'm a very complicated person, I thought it was very complicated to get clients. So I was like, okay, must plan this, plan that, have this, have that for business and things like that. And I went on planning for about 6 months. And then somewhere after 6 months, I realized that almost nothing had gone on with my startups. In the first 6 months, we probably had 20, 30 clients. And at that point of time, I'm like, this is 6 months, so you do the math about how many clients I get a month and all. So at that point of time, after that, I realized that actually now, 6 months after finishing school, I've come to this very profound conclusion that being alive is expensive. Last time, not really. Last time my lunch is there, my dinner is there. What's the worst that can happen? Now it's
Yep.
like my lunch I must pay, my dinner I must pay. If possible, pay your rental. You do this, do that, do this. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know it was so expensive to be alive. I'm like, if you cough also go hospital, also they'll charge you. So it's like, what do I do? So then after that, I called my mentor and I said, how do I earn money? He said, you already have a startup, right? Just earn the money. I said, what do you mean? He said, 6 years I've been teaching you. You didn't learn anything. He said, what is it that I normally teach you? I think because for 6 months he's been telling me different ideas, and I never listened. So now I think he was just trying to tell me figure it out. So I've gone back to like what worked for me setting and achieving all my goals. Because at the end of the day, that skill of setting and achieving your goals should apply in anything, right? Including your finances. So I thought, okay, if my goal is I need a certain amount to live every month, so I need a certain amount every month. The first thing that I did is I know that amount and I set that goal. And every month I have an end goal of how much I want to earn. And I broke down that end goal. If you go for BHBS, do go for BHBS. There's one follow-up workshop where they actually talk about end goals. And one thing I'll never forget is their virtual guest speaker, Miss Kasturi from Keaton, will say something like, break down the end goal into something smaller so that your mind can understand it. So every week I have a certain number of clients I want to hit. So the first thing I do in my thoughts, I focus on that end goal, or I focus on that goal of how much I want to earn. So when I focus on that, it's like it's not just focus in your thoughts, oh, it'd be nice if I can earn that. It is how do I do whatever it takes to hit this end goal. So then in my words, whatever it takes, right? So I talk to everyone. There's one point of time, anyone call me for anything, I'll say, do you want to get a website? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Literally someone will message me, all those chain messages like delete, like if you don't repost this, your family will die in 3 months. Okay, do you want a website? So it was like at that point of time, that's how much I went and talked to people. And in
Yep.
my actions, I realized, okay, if I need this end goal, I really need it. So how do I work as hard as I can? And what actions can I do to achieve it? So in the beginning, like any business, you talk to your friends and family, but you only have so many friends and family.
Yep.
Then after a while, you run out of friends, unfortunately, no matter how popular you are.
Yeah.
So then after I thought, where else can I get clients from? I was like, social media marketing, genius. I posted on it, nobody like, not even so then after that, no, really. So then after I was thinking, what can I do to actually get the clients in and earn the income? So I thought that if the clients are not coming to me, I should go to the clients. So I started going to Facebook groups. I'll message anyone looking for a website. Even if they're not looking for a website, if I think they need a website, I will message them. So I went out there and I asked a lot of people. They came to a point where, during the MCO, they have this post, which is like, home caterers, inshallah, comment here so you can order from you. So I'll message every single person who comments in there. And in a day or two, and in 1 or 2 days, I'll message hundreds of people. Out of that hundreds, 10 maybe will reply, one maybe will sign up. But I make sure that I get the sign-ups so that if I need to message 500 people this week in order to get my target sign-ups, I do it. And slowly, every time I hit the target consistently, I increase my target. I increase my target until eventually, without me even knowing it, the business started growing.
Yep.
And it came to a point where we were getting 30, 40, 50 clients a month from getting 20 clients in 6 months. So improvement.
All right. So I think the gist of it is that end goals one, because a lot of people that I work with, right, I know that they'll be freaking out about, oh, I don't have enough income, I have to, I can't survive with what I have and all of that. But then if you ask, okay, so how much do you need, and then they go like, I'm not sure. So I think that's the first thing you did. You actually had a goal, like you figured out how much you need, and then that was your goal now. And then you broke it down into smaller bites so that it's easier to process and not some big chunk of money that you freak out when you see it. So then after that you started focusing everything. I remember like at that point in time when you were doing that, if I'm next to you, somehow we'll end up talking about websites. or
Yes.
and it's like it just happens with whatever you do. It's not just your start my name. I think anything you did is, if you're very focused at that point in time, everything that you talk about, anyone who's around you will be absorbed into that, which I absolutely love about what you do. So I think there's already a question. Wow, surprising, which I think we can get now. Question: when a teenager starts earning enough and decided to start small to be independent, but they have this habit pattern to rely on their parents for buying stuff using their money and all of that. Have you faced this? How did you overcome this? So I think you're one of the people who was already working on becoming fully independent. So how do you face this, relying on your parents still for things, and do you overcome it?
I think it's a process. It's a process. It's not like one day, like, bye, mom and dad, I'm going to pay for everything now. Like, I'm sorry, I can't with you anymore. It's not like that. Like, for me, it's still a process and it's a transition phase of learning it. And I think I was very lucky when I was younger, when I was like, since I was 11, 12, I was in this environment of ET ideas. And
Yeah.
ET ideas, these entrepreneurs will take me out makan, or will work somewhere and they'll pay for my coffee or my tea and things like that. And at that point of time, when you're a kid, actually kids have a lot of money, one, because you only go out maybe once a week. So you only have to focus on one day's meal. So you can buy Starbucks, buy this, buy that. But when you pay for every day's meal, then you realize, oh dear. But anyway, for me especially, it's like when I want to pay back, they'll tell me this, which for me is very nice lah. Either they'll say, when you're very famous, you blunder me Hilton lah. Or they'll say me something, or they'll tell me something like, do this for someone else lah, the next person you do it for. So I didn't actually start paying for myself straight away, or for all of my things straight away, but I built a habit pattern of becoming independent. So first of all, I worked on getting my own income. If you don't have enough income to sustain yourself, you will never be independent because you will just never have enough income. So once I started building my income, then I realized that the first thing I did is, when I can afford to pay, I pay. So if I go out for lunch, I'll just tell my mom, so, you know what, we can split. When my income increased a bit more, I calculate, okay, how much actually living in this house, how much is my actual portion of rent. Then I started paying my mom not the full rent, but maybe 100 ringgit a month first. Then slowly increase until I actually hit the rent. After I hit rent, I realized that there will always be things that my family buys for me, because I'm just the laziest person in the house. So they'll buy the groceries and everything, and they'll bring it home. So they become to not rely on them. I cannot not rely on them, because if not, I'll starve and die lah. So what I just started doing is, I just started putting aside money for groceries, and I started paying them for the groceries in a sense. So it's not like today everything I pay or I must pay alone. Sometimes my family blunder me. Sometimes I blunder my family. It's not becoming independent, I must pay for everything. It's getting into that mindset that I can afford it, and I can take care of it myself, and I can spend on the people I love. So even today, with the students that we work with Ascendance, it's paying it forward, Like sometimes we go out makan, we go out breakfast and things like that. I pay for them first. So that even if I don't, not say I don't have the money, but even if I do this, it's not about they don't have the money. It's about them seeing someone paid first, so that in the future they know that they can be sustainable and take care of others as well.
I think it's very nice. One of the things I've noticed in people, right, is that when they do start earning, there is a tendency to forget that actually we rely on our parents for most of the things, and we will start committing to things on our own. Like, oh, okay, now that I am earning, let me go and get this Spotify subscription. Let me go get this. Let me go get that. So how did you do that when you started earning, and how did you balance from one, slowly, like taking, like you said, you take care of the rent, some portion of the rent you are contributing to it. A lot of people I know, even people who are my age, they until now they don't pay the rent, even though they live with their parents. So what made you decide to, like, not just go out and commit to a whole lot more things, but rather just start taking up some of the expenses that your parents were?
To be honest, I didn't think of it as myself. I know you all think like, wow, such a nice 18-year-old pays her rent. But actually, I know all of the parents are like, oh my God, I'm crying really. No. But I've mentor. So my mentor one day said, hey, you're doing better now, right? You actually got money now, right? Why don't you pay some rent? So I was like, oh, yeah. Okay lah, I pay some rental. Of course, as a kid, there's the first thing, okay, this is going to sound so selfish. All the parents will be crying, all the teenagers will be cheering. But for me, like, you actually don't think it's your responsibility to pay rent, pay groceries, pay all of these things, because it's just always been paid for you. So naturally, the first thing you want to do is go buy Spotify Premium, go buy whatever subscription you want, which is exactly what I did. So the first month that I had, not the first month I got money, but the first time I started earning, I went and got the Zombies Run Premium membership, Spotify Premium. I just went on crazy binge. I started buying Bluetooth headphones. Like I bought 3 Bluetooth headphones that week. I just went and bought like a bunch of stuff. Not because I cannot afford it, but it's just because I didn't think that rental is something I need to pay.
Yep.
So after a while, I realized, number one, half the things I'm buying is just my repressed desires. When you're a child, sometimes your parents will say, don't buy it, cannot buy this. So now suddenly when you have money, you will go, I must buy this because I'm an adult now. So it's just realizing, actually, I'm just rebelling. Yep. So when I understand that rebellion part, then my need to buy things reduce a bit. Again, it helps that I have a mentor, because my mentor kept saying, you earn money, where are your money going actually? Then I was like, so when I reduce the rebellion part, then I can think. I breathe, I think. My mentor is very smart. He won't say focus on this and that. He'll say focus on your goals. And that doesn't mean earning money. Focus on the work that you're supposed to do, providing good service. If you're constantly focused on that, and your mind is not on the money, you will naturally respond better, because you are not worried whether the money is coming in or not. When you respond, you can see the things that you can do. So when I'm responding and he tells me pay for rent, I'm okay because I
Yep.
see, oh, okay, that makes sense. But if I'm going out there and saying I have money now, let's go buy things, then the rental thing will seem like a burden. So yeah, I think many times it's not focusing on the extra money you have to go buy things, which I did in the beginning and had to be brought back into the right path, but actually going back to the work so that you can think clearly and see what you actually need to pay for.
Okay. Not, no, I mean, I like what you said about focus on doing the work, giving your best there. Because a lot of us, when we set financial goals, we were like, okay, I want to earn this amount of money. And then every day you're like checking, okay, have I earned it? Have I earned it? Have I earned it? And then, but there's nothing different in your life other than you checking every day. So like what you say, if you really focus on your work, it will just come to you. And I think that's what many of us youngsters need to really understand, that it's not going to happen overnight, but if you continue to focus on giving your best, it's going to happen. So if you guys just tuned in to this live stream and you're wondering what are we talking, this is Money Matters, guys, where we talk about personal finance topics, and we have Hasha here who is sharing her wonderful experiences on how she increased the income, and how when she freaked out about it she managed it and came out of it. So if you guys are in the same scenario, you can definitely learn something from her. Do share this link with anybody you think will benefit from this topic as well. All right, so I think the next question, I like how you shared about how you did increase it, but my next question is, when you do manage to increase it and when you've come on the other side of the tunnel, how do you not freak out? Yeah, and it's not just one type of freak out. I don't know what type of freak out are people interpreting, so I'm going to say what is my definition of it. There's two. I noticed there's two kinds of people. There's the ones who will get super scared now that they have a lot of money, and then there's the people who will go crazy, like what you said, rebellious, and just spend on everything. So how you already technically answered one aspect of it. So if let's say you have the fear and not, how do you handle that?
Okay, if you watch the Money Matters, I think episode 2 or something, you actually interviewed Hira, who is my sister, and she shares about the programming people have towards money. And she shares that her programming is to save a lot and also to spend a lot, which is the same programming I have. So there is one side of me which is I will spend, I will go for people, I'll belanja people makan, I'll take care of people, this. Then I will see, oh no, bank balance low. Then my brain will switch the other side, which is saving mode, save, 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 save. Breakfast also cannot, it's an unnecessary expense. We eat one meal a day, that's all you need, Harsha. So it's like I'll go into the extra saving mode in a sense.
Yep.
So that saving mode, when I first started noticing my habit pattern was becoming the most spending habit pattern when I started earning money, it kind of like triggered me. It's not like I became broke or anything, but my brain straight away was like, we're spending money. We've never spent this much money before. Half of it on food lah, but of course, because now paying for food, right? But my brain was like, oh, we spend so much. Switch. So it switched into this mode that anything I want to spend money, also I'm scared. And it reminded me at that point of time, my mentor Ilungo will say something last time when we were in coffee at ET, he'll say something like, those who get money will realize before you get money, you think you have headache. After you get money, you have even more headache. I didn't understand it at that point of time. I was like, good one, I have money, I can spend the money. But actually,
Yep.
no, having money made me a bit paranoid for a while because I'm like, what am I going to spend it on? If I'm saving, does that mean I'm actually not contributing? If I'm not contributing, am I not getting this? Should I spend on that? So there's now so much concern. What should I spend on? I spend already. Should I have spent on that? So it's like it never ends in a way.
Yep.
So the thing that my mentor, he told me this very, very nicely, which I think I'll never forget. He said, you need to learn how to spend. I was like, learn how to spend? Normally people say you need to learn how to save. Then he said, but look at that. And I said, look at you. You spend all your money in this platform. You care for people. You build the next generation. How come I'm not like you? Then he said, I am in what stage of life? You are in what stage of life? He said, the problem now is everyone in the experiencing stage of life is trying to be letting go stage of life, and letting go stage of life is trying to be experiencing stage of life.
Yes.
So he said, your job is to, number one, to earn money for your shareholders, for the people in your company, for your team, so that they have money to live. Number two, to use the money to experience. You will only learn how to save once you've learned how to spend. And I didn't really understand what that meant. But he realized that I did not really understand what this meant. And every time I spend, I get scared. So I'll spend, I'll track. Then I say, ayo, so much I'm spending. No need to track. Then I'll just forget to track. I forget to track so that I don't see how much I'm spending. So the first thing he did is, he said, okay, every night before you sleep, screenshot the amount you keyed in your money app and send to me. So now I'm like, ayo, kena tangkap lah, maskin in money app. So I sent in. Then the second thing he said is, when you spend on things, you must be happy to spend on things that you know will bring you value for you and your goals. So if spending on something helps you achieve your goal or is something that you can use to achieve your goal, you should spend the money happily, which is my biggest lesson, right? So for me, I am not this kind of person. 3 times I'll think before I buy something, 3 times I'll think after I buy something. So I'm never at peace with what I buy. I'll always feel like I should have gotten it cheaper or I should have gotten better quality. There's always some reason why whatever I purchase is not fulfilling my happiness.
Yep.
So when he told me that, I was very taken aback. So after that, and I remember the stories about my textbooks. So I was going back and forth over my textbooks because my textbooks are quite expensive because they have to be imported from the US. Shipping itself is sometimes twice or 3 times the price of the textbook itself. So I'll tell him, this textbook takes 6 weeks to come, but it's cheaper. He said, just get the fastest one, the best quality for you to be able to do your work and ace your exams well. So he said, pay a little extra, it's okay. But you must be happy that this money that you spend is going to bring you this value. It's going to help you actually pass your exams. And by passing these exams, you'll set this example for students. You'll bring your sentence to the next level. You must see the joy of that when you spend this money. So at first, it's very difficult. But over time, as I started kind of like seeing what is the effect of this thing I'm buying, I forget to calculate the good and the bad and the pros and cons. And instead, I focus on how this is beneficial. And that, in a sense, I feel is what made me reduce that fear of spending.
Wow. Okay. I think it's something I need to take into account because I remember that, if I'm not mistaken, this month, right? I've been wanting to get this one particular book, and I've just been like, you know what? Maybe not this month. Let's get it next month. Let's get it next month. And it's like 6 months has passed. So then finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. Then after I got it, I was like, maybe I shouldn't have gotten it. What the hell? So I like what you shared. Be happy and really see what that whatever you're buying, how that it's going to benefit you, and focus on that and spend. Very very nice sharing. So I think a few people have commented as well, and there's a question, so I'm gonna ask that. When was the very first time you started saving money as a kid? How and why?
The first time I
I think
started
you're one
saving
of the
money,
people who loves to save, right?
huh? Me?
No,
I,
I think you're one
I'm
of those
one.
unassuming savers.
I'm one of those who commit tax fraud to your parents. Where every Deepavali they'll give you money and then you're supposed to declare your income to your parents so that they can put it in the bank. But for me, I didn't understand this concept as a kid because my logic is nobody ever takes me to the bank. So there's no point I give you this money. I cannot use it. If I keep it in my tabong, then at least whenever I want to go somewhere, I will take the money and go. So I used to do things where if my best friend's parents don't let them go for a trip, I'll pay for my best friend so that the parents will think, oh, free trip, go lah. But I needed the money to be able to run this what do you call it, philanthropic work that I was doing. So what I'll do is I'll keep, like if I get 300 ringgit for Deepavali, I'll give my mom maybe 100 ringgit and I'll keep 200 ringgit. Of course, I had a sister, so they kept thinking why they liked the other family liked her more than me and gave her more money. But I would slowly try to build up my savings like this. So that was the first time I ever saved. And but the first time I noticed that I had money is after when I set up my bank account somewhere when I was probably form 3, form 4, because we had just started Ascendance and things like that. So we do get some allowance to be able to makan when we go out for meetings and things like that. Lah. And for whatever expenses we have when we do Ascendance work. So I needed a bank account to be able to have money in the account. Lah. And that's when I noticed some of my Deepavali money in there. And I was like, you exist again. So so yes, that's when I had the first time I actually saved. And that's when actually from Ascendance's small pockets of money, I started building that saving habit pattern.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I don't, yeah, my Deepavali money also, I have no idea where it went. I think it's still in some banks in National that I don't know about.
Mine was still in my tabong. I still have the envelope also, just in case.
I've been thinking about how to, like if you are a youngster, right? Like you said, you don't even know that paying for rent is a thing, or paying for your groceries and food is a thing. Any if you were a parent, or any ideas what you would do so that the kid knows uh, about money and how to spend and all of that. Any ideas? I said, since you are in Ascendance and you work with a lot of youngsters as well. Any ideas on how we can get youngsters to learn this at a younger age?
Number one, I would say, for kids, you actually need to earn the money and spend the money. until you experience that part of making a bad decision and spending your money, you will never actually learn. I feel like people often look at SIP and we are told that emotions and physical senses is not good in a way. Or either that or the other side of people will say emotions and physical senses are the best. But actually, no, it's all part of who you are and you cannot escape it. So even your learning needs to start SIP for me. You need to have a goal from your heart. You need to intellectually understand the lessons that you have, and you only learn these lessons through that emotional feeling that happens through experience, and experience being your physical senses. So until a kid, for me lah, I was a kid. When I first started buying things myself, when I was probably form 2, form 3, I started buying my own handphones. So every time I change handphone, I have to spend my money. That one, you can feel the money going. You go, oh, I started like going out there slowly. I think my transition phase started when I was form 2, form 3 itself. Of course, didn't like, ramp up until I finished school. But I started paying for my own makan sometimes when I go out, when I'm in school, when I go for different meetings. So slowly that habit pattern built up. And I think that would be my recommendation for any kid out there who actually wants to learn how to manage your finances. You cannot learn how to swim with the sharks in your swimming pool. You can only do it. But until the fear you get from the sharks will only happen in that situation. And for
Yep.
parents, I feel like one thing that my mom did very, very well is she, or if, this is just for my mom, her birthday is tomorrow, so I thought I talked about her lah. For parents, for my mom, three things she did which was very important. Number one, she told the truth. So even as a kid, I know how much our rental is. I know how much my shopping costs. Like, sometimes parents they buy you things, they won't tell you how much it is, right? So after a while, I started noticing how it is. And my mom used to tell me this when I was very small. She used to say, don't look at the price tag, or at least don't feel bad about it. You spend what your heart wants. And she used to tell me that even before we were spend whatever your heart wants. And you will earn the money, she used to tell me. So I feel like that mindset is very good for kids. It's not to say don't save. My family still saved a lot. But she would tell me things like spend what your heart wants, we will earn the money to get it. And I think that's a good habit pattern to instill in your kids. And the second thing that she did, which I think was very smart, is she observed us very well. So she will see like many times she observed them and she observed her own habit patterns. So when she see we becoming too spendthrift already, she starts seeing where did she go wrong in programming us in a way. There's one point of time which I think my sister and I were a bit psycho. We started bludgeoning everyone makan. So instead of coming and scolding us, which is what like I feel some parents tend to do, or getting upset with us, she just started looking. She's like, could this be the programming from this part of your life when you were a kid? Or from your father, or from this person, or from your grandfather, and things like that. And she identified that and she'll come and talk to us and reason with us. So when she does that, it's like we are constantly learning that finance is not just about the skills of managing your money, but about the skills of managing your programming. And you'll be surprised, young kids can actually know this. Where I'm actually doing a program with my mom called Raising Successful Children. So if you want to know more about it, we're actually having this program for Mother's Day, but we have very limited seats. So do sign up for it. I'll drop the link in the chat if you're interested to figure out more about it. If you're a
That'd be
kid,
good.
bring your parent. If you're a parent, bring your kid.
Okay, so that was Hasha's amazing sharing. Please do check out the talk that she's doing with Valsla, Hasha's mom. When is it? Mother's Day, around Mother's Day, right? So May, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. All right. So yeah, thank you so much, Hasha. That was a very, very nice sharing. I personally learned quite a fair bit, especially it reinforced that thing, right? Which is a lot of us like to go and get tips on how to manage our money, and you think it's just some steps that you need to learn and you will be able to do it. But a lot of it revolves around your belief systems, your programming, your habits, and all of that. So uh, I like that you shared about that. So if you guys would like to, I think Hasha has shared the link in the comments. I will also share it later on in my page as well. If you guys would like to follow Hasha, this is her social media details. So actually, Hasha, you can find her on Facebook, Instagram, and her website is also actually hasha.com. And as I mentioned earlier, Hasha has written a book called The Makings of a Teenage Entrepreneur, which is very, very nice. As I also like it a lot because she actually talks about how she increased the income in that book as well, and the struggles that she faced and all of that. So if you guys interested to find out more about her story and how she did it, you can get her book at store.startmyname.com. And there are many different sets. They even have an online platform with a lot more content that comes up pretty much every week. So I highly recommend that you guys do get it at store.startmining.com. And so yeah, I think Harsha has shared also the impact report for the work that she does in Ascendance, that we do in Ascendance. So please do take a look at the impact report and share it around with people who would be interested to build the young and get these kind of things like personal finance knowledge and all of that into youngsters, so that they are set up in the right way for their life. So do share it out with people who you think may be interested in contributing towards the cause of building the future, and hashtag 1 million teens as well. And I am thank you so much for joining Money Matters. I am also organizing a talk next weekend, if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday, 27th of March, which is just starting out in life but already in depth. But that is just a very fancy topic which we put. What we'll be covering is how you can get started with regards to managing your finances. So if you're not very sure if you want to work with somebody on your finances, or if you have no idea where to start, this is a good workshop to come in, where you can just learn about where you can get started and what are the steps you can start taking now itself. It is 200 ringgit, but we are giving RM50 off for Money Matters viewers. So if you're watching now, you can just PM me and I will get in touch with you guys for that. But if you are somebody who likes a more personal touch, we also have this thing called personal finance management for millennials. Unfortunately, it's only for people within the age of 18 to 30 years old. And it's a 12-month program where I kind of like guide individuals to manage your finances. So like somebody actually shared just now, if you get the 1,000 ringgit, you'll talk to Madhura. She's one of my clients. So if you are somebody who needs a bit more help in terms of sorting it out, you can get in touch with me as well. So this is organized by Simply Empowering. I know you guys are watching on Simply Empowering Facebook page, so thank you so much. Do like the page so that you can tune in for our future Money Matters as well. And if you'd like to follow me, this is my social media details. Everything is The Real Madhura, and my website is madhurak.com. So yeah, a lot of social media to share about. Thank you so much, Asha. It was so much of fun having you here, and thank you to all of you who are watching. Do share out the link so that more people can learn from Harsha's experiences. And I'll see you guys next week on Money Matters, episode 7. Bye.
Bye.